morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy stormy Sunday. I hope you're well. Hope you've had a good week. If so, then you're in the right place. And if you've had a terrible week, you are definitely in the right place. So settle in and settle down. This practice is about being here and now in this moment, not pondering the past and not trying to foresee the future or avoid whatever to come in the future. It's about being here and now, actively aware, actively engaged with our experience. That way, when things come up that you normally have an automatic, unconscious reaction to, and then you deal with the consequences to that after it's already in motion, we can sort of get in the way of that. And we get in the way of that with consciousness, with awakened awareness here and now. So when we see, that's my agitation arising, my irritation, my restlessness that I typically respond to, I can watch it instead and say, how might I respond differently or even not respond at all? And just let things come and go. So as we begin this practice, we want to bring ourself into center, this central channel, this not feminine, not masculine, just combined everything flowing just as it is. So take a few deep breaths. Posture is important, so if you're reclining Buddha right now, maybe sit up. Find a way to just openly sit up where you're not constricted in one direction or the other. We'll begin, as always, with the path-clearing and wish-fulfilling prayer to Padma, followed by our refuge prayer, twice in Tibetan and once in English. I'll ring the bell 3 times, and that's the indication that we arrive here and now on our seats in this moment, together in this practice. Dosum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Nungdro Kunda Dewa Chen Pojab Barche Kunsel Dudu Drakpotsel Soran Depso Jinji Lap Tu Sol Chinang Sangwei Barche Jiladang Sampalunji Drupa Jinji Lob. Precious Guide, one with all the Buddhas of the 3 times, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction, we pray to you for blessing inspiration, and realization. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles and spontaneously fulfill our aspirations. Sangye chodang tsoki choknam la Jangchu badu dakni kapsu chi Dakji jinso gi pei sonam ki Drola penshir sangye drupar shok Sangye chodang toki choknam la Jangchu badu dakni kapsu chi Dakji jinso gi pei sonam ki Drola penshir sangye drupar shok. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened. Through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. The great yogi Milrepa sang, "My body is the holy mandala itself, wherein resides the Buddhas of all times. With their blessings I'm freed from all needs and attachments. By day and night I offer them up. Happy am I to do without material things, knowing that all beings in the 6 realms of samsara are inherently Buddhas, and all the 3 worlds, the self-creating, measureless Trikaya Palace. Whatever I do is the play of the Dharma Dhatu, ultimate reality. Whoever I'm with is the Yidam deity. Wherever I stay is the Buddha's abode. Happy am I to forego outer supports, rituals, and symbols." We have the thunder and the lightning and the rain beginning to fall. Let that be a cleansing. Let that be a Dharma rain that just helps to reset us, brings us close to our hearts. We bring our attention into our heart center, where it's nice and dry and warm. We'll begin this morning by doing a little chanting. And whether you like singing or chanting, it just doesn't matter. In fact, we just point our attention to even the arising of our own feelings and our own bias. So as that feeling, sensation arises that I like it or I don't like it, be aware of it. Sometimes the like is more dangerous, quote-unquote dangerous, because we tend to think that things we like are always good. So we immerse ourselves and eat a whole bag of potato chips because we liked one. And maybe the outcome of that is not as it should be. So just watch what you cling to, what you're attached to, and what you're averse to. Let that arise and settle. We'll chant Lama Cheno, which is calling in the Lama, awakening our inner teacher. So think about picturing that Lama, that teacher, in whatever form they are. off in the distance, and as we approach each other, we melt into, merge into one, into the teacher, as it reveals our own inner guidance. Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Che Chenno, 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 Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Che Chenno. Straighten your spine. Remember, not too tight and not too loose. That's natural body. Body like a mountain. Strong. Begin taking long, slow breaths. Letting the breath come and go like ocean waves. Breath like the ocean, fluid, coming and going, hard to grasp or hard to push away. So letting it just flow. Mind like the sky, open, vast, unbiased, just experiencing, not judging, not grasping, not clinging, and not pushing away, allowing. Let your awareness be natural, just observing, body like a mountain, breath like the ocean. and mind like the sky. Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. By the blessings of the Triple Gem, may the minds and hearts of all beings be attuned to the sublime Dharma. Bless us to move forward on the path of true understanding. May the way be cleared of all impediments. Bless us that the elusive vision may appear in the light of the transcendent wisdom of Buddha. May unskillful thoughts and actions cease to arise. Bless us with the awakening of true love and compassion. May all beings realize perfect enlightenment. May all beings realize perfect enlightenment. That's a beautiful wish. And we start with ourselves. Start with ourselves in truly understanding our own experience. Seeing our actions and reactions that arise from things like bias, that like and dislike that I was speaking about earlier. That like and dislike that seems to guide us on our paths. And I know I talk about it a lot, but it's a lot in our experience. So it's, if you don't get it, ponder it, think about it, Think about how your likes and your dislikes drag you around. There's an old Zen proverb that says, let go or get dragged. What are you getting dragged by? That attachment. So it's important to find that grounding. And we each week, when we complete our silence, or meditation silence, we come out with Om Mani Padme Hum, and it's a popular but special invocation, prayer, mantra used by many, many Buddhists across the globe and for centuries. It translates roughly as the jewel is in the lotus, but what is that? The jewel is in the lotus. Does that mean if we pluck away the leaves, we're going to find jewelry? No. No. It really means that gem, that wisdom, is in the example of that lotus flower. And what's that? What do we mean by that? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there's a simplicity. There's a simplicity in the lotus, doing what lotus does, being what lotus is. There's a wisdom in that lotus is not plagued by the suffering of bias, the suffering of attachment. That lotus is just doing what lotus does, in the place that lotus does it. Mud and wet, and doesn't really get to choose its neighbors, doesn't sit there and think, gosh, I really hate my neighbor and I'm going to move. Lotus doesn't think that. But how does that show us? Because, we're more complicated than that, right? We have emotions. We have names. I mean, do lotuses have names? Do they have families? Do they think, I come from a long line of lotus in this mud patch, this puddle? Probably not. But we're more complicated. We have all of these things, including attachment, including emotion, including grief. When one of our own passes, we grieve. We get into fights and disagreements. We have things like hunger and tired, and that plays into our experience. Think about your experience just yesterday. What was your experience yesterday? Was it all cool, just chilling in the cool mud? Or were there parts that were not your favorite? You wanted them to go away. Or maybe there was really good moments that you wanted to hold on to. Think about the experience of how that bias drove you. So when we're thinking about this lotus flower as an example, we can see at the true core and the true nature of that lotus, no matter what's going on, a storm, maybe it's dying. Maybe someone close to it is dying or suffering. Someone being another flower or plant, or maybe the frog that lives underneath. That there's cycle and rebirth happening all around. But it's still lotus being lotus at its core, interconnected, being part of the cycle. That's the same as us at our core. We just have the complication of being human. So there's this ultimate self, this consciousness that is unbiased and persists, isn't born and doesn't die. It's at the core of everything, the lotus and us. So we can find some stability in that ultimate reality, that ultimate experience, that ultimate interconnectedness. Whether you feel it or not, it's there. It is for lotus, it is for us. Scientifically, we all come from the same stuff and become what we are. Lotus, human, dog, cat, goldfish. We are as we arrive. And that is our experience, the relative experience, which is the other side to this coin. So with our human nature, we have this experience of bias and judgment, craving, attachment, aversion, this push and pull of what I want and don't want. That is the relative experience. It's attached to the ego, the human ego. We don't get rid of the ego. It's part of us. It's like deciding we're going to cut off our foot. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't benefit. But turning and understanding what the foot does, what the ego does, and how our reaction, how our interreaction and interdependence on that experience is moving us in ways that are skillful and unskillful. Our understanding can lead to that skillful behavior. So when we combine those two, that pervading ultimate consciousness and that relative being of human, when we combine those, understand that they are interconnected. One comes from the other and is interconnected. So we try to separate that. In fact, our relative being is constantly trying to convince us that we are separate from that. Yet we're not. So when we start to understand that and interconnect that oneness, then things start to calm down. There's not so much push and pull about what I want or don't want. I can see the bias arising. I can see the preference arising. I don't prefer to be in grief. I don't prefer to be sad or mad. I want to be glad and happy, joyful, even neutral. I want. Understanding that where that want comes from, where that need comes from, and allow yourself to release the grasp, the grip, the clinging to that attachment, and just let things come and go while you watch from that space of understanding that is clear, unbiased consciousness, seeing the biased part of our consciousness, which is often unconscious behavior. But when we start to see it in the light of this transcendent awareness, then things start to relax and release and let us just be as we are without so much tension. Yeah? It's a lot, And again, if you get it, congratulations. If you don't get it, congratulations. Explore these Dharma teachings, these examples, these mentors, in whether it was a mentor being or a mentor flower, a mentor frog or dog, that we start to understand that intrinsic nature of both ultimate pervading consciousness and reactive relative awareness. Start to understand those. When we understand that and endeavor to understand that in ourselves, we can begin to see it in another. And we see the joyful responses, we see the unskillful and angry responses in our fellow flowers. And we can see that for what it is and not be so judgy. In fact, we can be supportive, compassionate, loving, because we understand our own situation. So, at the core, we're like that lotus. But there's that human nature that's complicated, and we shouldn't dismiss or stop our understanding or our endeavor to understand because it's complicated. But instead the opposite. Because it is complicated, we can. And because we're human, we can see through awareness. We can see the totality of this experience. Enough to understand your own attachment. If you haven't heard me say this before, you'll hear me say it 1,000 times, and maybe you should write it down. You can get it tattooed right on your arm right here that says, suffering equals attachment. So, when you're feeling your suffering arise, you feel dissatisfied, disconnected, sad, mad. It's attachment that's arising. So explore what is causing your reactive awareness to be off. And through the awareness of that, we can fix it. We can relax our posture, not cling so tightly. In fact, let go. Let come and go. Let everything come and go like waves. So, it's important. It's important to keep endeavoring to understand and not give up and just dismiss it. Just the way I am. Just the way she is. Just the way he is. Take the step of understanding. This is the path of true understanding. It's not about me preaching and telling you this is right or this is wrong. It's about you taking the step to endeavor to understand for yourself what is true, right, complete, because you know that you experience it. Yeah. I hope that's helpful. Think about it. A couple announcements before we kind of close this part. As a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, Periscope, that, or on the KCBC website, that if you'd like to hang around for the discussion part, our satsang part, which means kind of a question and answer in such terms, that you'll want to go to the Kansas City Buddhist Center.com website and click on today's service and get the Zoom link and join us in Zoom. So we'll be here, and just enter and I'll let you in and we'll discuss. So that's number one. Number two, daily meditations are coming back in a different way. They will be part of Cultivate Meditation Academy. So if you go to that website, cultivatemeditation.com or cultivatemeditationacademy.com, you'll see the brand new website that I've put up, and there will be there's links on there, or there will be links for different meditations at different times each day throughout the week, yeah, check those out depending on what you're looking for. We'll do some mantra meditation, some breath energy, yoga, as well as natural meditation, and some short ones, some long ones. It'll be a whole suite of experiences throughout the week. There's monthly subscriptions and things like that if you want to do, or drop-ins as well. So that's a kind of a separate but interconnected entity that is just the secular meditation side. So Kansas City Buddhist Center is our Buddhist center in Kansas City, and Cultivate Meditation Academy is a little bit more global and a little more secular. Of course, it's by me and potentially some new other teachers that we're vetting at this point. So it's exciting things to come. So that's evolving. What else? I know things are opening back up pandemic-wise, and there's some releasing of and relaxing of mask policies. I don't know what that means for us yet. We're doing the exploration. We have not rented our space, our previous space in the Pilgrim Chapel, in more than a year. So I've reached out to them to see if it's even still available and what that might look like. So I don't have answers on when or where at this point, but it's important to know from a Sangha standpoint that wherever we endeavor, if we start doing in-person services again, that there is a cost to that, a monthly cost for us to rent space. So we're going to need some monthly commitments from folks. If you want to start that train going, just go to kansascitybuddhistcenter.com and you can do a recurring donation, and we'll have some definite costs that we will share with you later on, and we just have to make sure that we cover all our costs so that we don't go upside down in our organization. So donations are important. So that's there, and it is what it is. So with all that, I am ready to close our service today, and then we're going to move to the Zoom link only. But before then, I will say the 4 dharmas of Gampopa and Longchenpa, as well as the prayer for 10 accomplishments, followed by our bodhicitta dedication. Remember to not just sign off on these, but listen to the words. They're there as a reminder. They're there as hopefully stimulation to endeavor further. Bless and empower us that our minds and hearts turn toward the Dharma. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. Bless and empower us that the path truly dispels confusion. Bless and empower us that the confusion itself dawns as primordial awareness. The Prayer for 10 Accomplishments by Lama Surya Das. May we realize true sincerity and integrity, inner purity of mind, dispassionate equanimity toward all we see, right understanding of this dreamlike world and the next, loving compassion toward others and the genuine intention to be helpful in alleviating suffering and confusion. May we directly perceive the truths of impermanence, mortality, and interconnectedness, relinquish wandering thoughts and rampant desires, accomplish freedom of mind and clarity of spirit, remember with gratitude those who have gone before and shown the way, and vow to reach together full and complete enlightenment. Jan Shup Sem Chok Rinpoche Makye Panang Ke Gyur Chik Ke Panyam Parme Payong Gong Ne Gong Du Perwar Shok Jang Chup Sem Chok Rinpoche Makye Panam Ke Gyur Chi Ke Panyam Parme Payong Gong Ne Gong Du Perwar Shok. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. Body, speech, and mind directed toward awakening and for the benefit of all beings, without one single exception. Thanks for participating in this part of the service. The satsang will continue on the Zoom link, so go to kansascitybuddhistcenter.com and find that link in today's event, and we'll see